Okay, we begin with 2007 Form B, question 6. Now there's really two ways. We have this function f of x is equal to 6e to the negative x over 3. And we want to find the first four non-zero terms and the general term for the Taylor series for f about x equals 0. Just to quickly point out, once again, because we're centered at x equals 0, this is also a Maclaurin series, even though they won't necessarily say that. There's two ways that we can go about this. We can go about this the traditional way, or the brute force method. And we know that the derivative is, and the original function is 6e to the negative x over 3. The first derivative will be negative 1/3. We'll have the chain rule, so the derivative of e to the negative x over 3 is just e to the negative x over 3 times the derivative of negative x over 3, which is negative 1/3. And so we get something like this. The second derivative, the same thing is going to happen. The 6 times negative 1/3 is just a constant. The derivative of e to the negative x over 3 is e to the negative x over 3 times negative 1/3. And I think that you can see what's happening is this negative 1/3 term here is becoming it's going to be to whatever power the derivative is. Let's go to the next derivative, and etc. But we only need the first four terms, so this gives us what we need for the first four terms. And of course we're evaluating each of these at x equals 0. Plugging in 0 into the original function, we're going to get 6. Plugging 0 into the first derivative, we're going to get negative 6 over 3. Plugging 0 into the second derivative, now it's going to become positive, and we're going to get 6 over 3 squared. Plugging in 0 into the third derivative, and we're going to get 3 cubed now. Alright, so if you recall, how do we use those values? Well, we have f of 0 plus f prime of 0 times x plus f prime prime of 0 times x squared over 2 factorial plus the third derivative of f evaluated at 0 times x cubed over 3 factorial, and then we calculate the general term. So the first one, f of 0, is just 6. F prime of 0 times x, and I could call that 3 to the first power. And if you see the pattern of the denominators of 3, we could also say that for f of 0, that's really 3 to the 0 power. Then, for the third term, we have 6 over 3 squared times x squared, but that's also over 2 factorial. And for the next term, we're going to have 6 over 3 cubed times x cubed over 3 factorial. So you may be able to begin to see the pattern. The 3 factorial, 2 factorial, the one before that should be 1 factorial, and the one before that could be 0 factorial, which by definition is also 1. And so from this, I think we can see that we first have the alternating terms, and so that's negative 1 to the n. Then we have the 6, and then if the first term is the 0, the second is the first, the third is the second, the third, we can see that we have x to the n. And that's all going to be divided by 3 to the n times n factorial. And that gives us the first four terms, and also the first four non-zero terms, and also the general term. Sorry, on that fourth term, we should have had a negative, and that should fix it there. So this is really the answer for A. Now there is a second way of going about this, and that is using the process of transformations, beginning with e to the x, and which was 1 plus x squared over 2 factorial, etc. Beginning with that and slowly transforming it into 6e to the negative x over 3. And we'll take a look at how we could go about doing that in the next video.